and welcome to this walkthrough and review of this paint by number zebra that I'm gonna paint. I already unpacked it because I couldn't wait, so next time I will let you see how that goes on as well. And the first thing that was in the package was of course the little thing here so you can see what you're actually gonna paint. Normally they don't turn out the way that the picture does, but sometimes it's actually better, so that's a good thing. I'm almost always positively surprised. And then there's of course the pencils that are always in it. They're okay to use. I have like a million of them now, so if these ones are not good, I'll just go back and take some that's actually that hold out. And yeah, there's always 3 sizes like this. See, they're pretty big. Usually they have a really tiny one but they're not that detailed, they're not that small spaces here, so I guess that they chose just to give me two of the same, and then a big one. I normally don't use this one that much, but I think this time, because yeah, as you can see there's a lot of coloring in, I think I'm gonna use it. And the little hooks are in there as well, and the little screws. I've actually never used them, so if anybody knows what they're actually there for, then you can leave a comment and say if it worked for you. And then there is this one. If this is normally when it's more detailed, you need this one, because if you lose a number somewhere, you can always track it back and see what color you need to paint. And if you don't know, and sometimes it doesn't show that well, you can always just paint in what you think is appropriate and what color you like. And then there's the colors. Really gorgeous colors, so nice. Just open them here and have a look to see. I can see there's lots of the 13, so I'm guessing I have to paint a lot. Yeah, it's also this big one. That's the 13. Very nice, gorgeous, hot pink. And really nice colors. I'm just gonna have a look inside to see. I always do that to see if they're nice. Oh yeah, they're nice. Sometimes they're a little bit dried out and you need to help along with a bit of water, but these ones actually seem very nice and ready to go. I'm just gonna have a look at this one as well. Yeah, looks gorgeous. Oh yeah, really nice, really nice. And then there's of course the canvas, and it's usually folded up in very small ways, so it always get these horrible lines. And as you can see, I tried to even them out. This time it didn't work completely, but it's way better when I got it. And next time I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it and maybe make it better, because you can see it's still a little, it's not as even as I would like it to be, but so much better when I got it. And I'm really looking forward to painting it. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna get started, and then after I can talk a little bit more about how it was to paint. Hey again, as you can see I'm getting on really well, but I thought I wanted to stop for a minute to maybe give you some tips on how to make it more pleasant and more easier to make your next paint by numbers, because I do it a lot, so I've been trying a lot of different stuff. One of the first things I want to talk about is doing the painting in sections. As you can see I'm doing here, I'm starting in this corner and then I'm moving on to doing this, and my idea is to go from this corner and make it up the way to the head and do it like that, because first of all, in the beginning I was thinking it would look way nicer for you to watch while it was going on, to make it more alive and the surprises would keep coming instead of just using one color at a time. Yeah, I thought it would be more interesting to watch. I certainly think it is. And And besides, also for my own sake, I really think it's boring just to paint with one color. It makes it boring, and I really don't like it. I like to switch it up also, because if the color is not sometimes the best quality, and if it's a little bit dry, it's a nightmare to paint with. So switch it up, and doing it in sections makes that possible. Also, because there's another thing I hate. In the end, you always end up with those little spaces that you forgot, and you just keep going and going. At the end, is usually not that fun. And that's, if you do it in sections, you minimize those spaces and you have a better overview of what's going on and what you need to do in the end. So if you have the 30 spaces left and you need to use 7 different colors, it's easier if it's packed in, yeah, like that, and you know, oh, I need to do a little bit here and I need to do a little bit there, instead of all the stuff, because you can sit for hours and hours and you feel like you can never ever finish it. So that helps me a lot, just take it in its sections and doing it like that. And yeah, and then maybe for example, cleaning the pencils. It's not the best quality pencils, and I found quickly, if you clean them too roughly, they tend to split up and not be very nice to use. So if you, for example, I have some paint on here and I want to clean it off, then make sure in the glass you get as much as you can off. Just rub it on the glass here as much as you can. Just keep going, because it's gonna come back into its nice straight shape. And then you take the paper and then you just glide it on here just smoothly, and maybe give it a little bit of a squeeze just to, and pull it out like that. Don't rub it around, because that's when the end splits, and then they're not very nice to work with pretty quickly, because you are doing every movement like that, and yeah, it gets messy. So if you can do that, and then just do like that for as long as it takes. Maybe you need some more water, that's okay, just do it like that. That's a really good trick to make them last longer. And then sometimes they're really, now you can see it's really pointy now, but there's sometimes a little bit excessive stuff at the end here who's difficult to work with. So sometimes I just take a really sharp pair of scissors and just cut just a tiny bit of the end in an angle, and then you get it straight again. Also, if you've been cleaning it too much or something like that and it gets the end splits, it sometimes helps keep them together again. So that's also a very good trick to use. What else? I think that's for now, but if I think of anything else, I will just interrupt the video again and give you some more tips. So I have a few more tips, and this is a good way to show you. I know you probably can't see it that well because I'm not up that close, but there's usually an issue with the pink colors. They don't cover all that well, and you can't see it, but I can see it really well. That it's not covering the numbers, and it's a kind of gritty, and you can see it's not evenly colored all over the place. So what you need to do, because you can't do it the first time, you actually need to let it dry before you do anything about it. So I've let this dry a little bit, and then you can do it. Just, yeah, you have to color it off, and then it's really gonna pop. And if you like the gritty, maybe a little bit unfinished look, you don't have to do it. It's just because I like when it's really even colored. So yeah, that's kind of double work, but yeah, you know, that's the quality of the paint. And it's also with the yellows, they don't cover that well, and sometimes also the white, you need to give it a second layer, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, but you can do it at the end, or you can do it while you're on the go, but you do really need to make it dry up. It's also, for example, with the blues and the greens, or the ones that really cover, you can still, when you are up close, as I am now, you can see it's not evenly out. There's a little bit of the canvas shining through, and it doesn't matter how thorough you are from the beginning, because I thought that time and time again it was my fault because I was not doing it properly. But I actually experienced, because if you do it the first time and you just keep going, you're just wiping the color off anyway. So you actually just need to do it a thick layer on the first time as you can, and then after just you can color it in. It's just little sections that needs to refresh. And again, if you like the look of the ruggedness and the little bit gritty look, it's fine, you don't have to do it. It's just if you want it unevenly, then it takes a little bit of more work. So, and it's easy to do on the big surfaces, but when it comes into the details one, it can be a bit of tiresome, but that's kind of what you need to do. And yeah, thought I would give you a little advice on the details, on sometimes the size of the pencil. If you, for example, have to go here, you can see there's a lot of little details and little corners you have to twist and turn, and you can actually, if you're not as steady on your hand, I'm not particularly steady, and you want to give it a nice finish around the edge, you can, or what I do and what works for me, I'm just going to show you here. It's just give it a good, not too much, but the right amount, just at the tip of the pencil, and just around the corner, just dab gently. And you don't have to go to the edge straight away, but just dab, and then you can, you can really make a sharp edge without actually going over. And you can, it doesn't really matter how big the pencil is, you can really go down in fine details if you just take the tip and just tap along the line or along the detail. And I also did it actually with where is it? The big pencil here, because there's a little bit of detail here, as you can see. Here on the lines, it's pretty easy to do. But if you need to go in here and think, oh, I don't want to switch pencils because that's kind of a pain, you need to rinse it and all that, then you can actually just, if you tip it and use the edges, and again just dab gently and go. Don't go in completely up to the line, just start a little bit outside and then just go in, and then you can actually make very fine detail with a very big pencil. So that's a good little trick to do to make it more smooth. And yeah, and if you make a mistake, you can always correct it after. It's not the end of the world. So just take it easy and enjoy. And I hope these tips are useful. They certainly have helped me a lot to make it more fun, and I'll come back if I think of anything more. So here we are, looking at the finished result. Or are we? Because at first glance it looks really nice, but as I told you, the colors are not that good to cover the first time, and I usually always have problems with that. And now I'm gonna go in a little bit closer to show you the problem. You see, it's not that even. It could be better, and no matter what you do, how thorough you are in the beginning, still the canvas is still gonna shine through. And this is kind of the before picture, you may say. And then I'm gonna make a little extra effort and do some covering up and some finishing touches, and then you can tell me after, when I make the after, if it was worth the effort, because it's gonna take a little bit of extra time. I'm gonna do it off camera because it's not gonna be that fun to watch. So yeah, when we come back, let's see if it's made enough of a difference to make it worth it. So we arrived at the aftershot now. I'm just gonna take it from above here. I used about an hour and a half on this, and I know what I think, but what do you think? Was it worth it? The extra effort? I'm going in a little bit closer now to see. I didn't use all the colors again. I just took the ones I thought was the worst and the ones I thought really needed a touch of. And especially the pinks, they always need for you to take a little bit of extra care. Actually, maybe they could have used a third coat, but I think it's okay. Yeah. So tell me what you think. Was it worth it? And now, this was a really nice paint by numbers to do. I really enjoyed painting it. The the colors were just gorgeous and really nice to paint with. It didn't need that much extra work. Sometimes they're a little bit dry, but these ones were just fantastic. And oh my god, I think it really turned out beautifully. Such a pleasure to paint. And all the vertical lines just made a good flow. And I wish I could do it again. I actually took a little bit of extra time with this one because, yeah, I didn't want it to end. But my paint by numbers, I get them on eBay. They have a huge selection, and it's really easy to deal with, and I've only had good experiences with it. I will leave a link down below so you can see where I got them. And yeah, if you want to see the time-lapse video I made of this, because I made that separately, it's also in a link down below, and it's really nice to look at. I love the time lapses. It's so much fun to watch after, and really hypnotic, and really usually put a lot of good music on it, so it's nice and relaxing, and just seeing the blank canvas turn into a beautiful painting. I just love it. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got some nice tips and some nice secrets, and that you want to just throw yourself into it and go for it. If you have some questions or anything like that, just leave a comment down below. And if you like videos like this, please subscribe. Have a very nice day. I hope to see you again.